Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Lights, Camera, and Mine. In this episode, okay, that's a weird sound. Yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of guests, you can say, in this place.
Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, I see you in the corner. That's nice. Yeah. If you couldn't tell, today's movie I'm going to be talking about is The Shining. So grab some popcorn, take a seat, and this is going to be a deep dive, not just about the movie, psychologically and philosophy wise, but more behind the scenes as well, because this movie actually did a lot of psychological damage to the cast and members, sadly. It's an amazing movie, but that is something that we can't overlook as well. So we're going to get into the good, the bad of the movie, and just my overall opinion. So let's go. What a lot of people would say about The Shining, me as well as, it was pretty groundbreaking in storytelling, especially when it comes to the supernatural. This really brought Stephen King's universe. If you don't know, Stephen King is an amazing writer that write books like The Shining, Pet Cemetery, Carrie, and they're all connected in this one universe. And in this film, you don't see it all connected, but you can see Stephen King's vision come to life, especially the weird and the odd. This movie was really groundbreaking for taking horror, but horror more in like a weird psychological, like, am I watching a movie or am I going insane? A lot of people said after watching the movies, reports said, a lot of people felt really disturbed or uncomfortable leaving the theater, double guessing the reality and where were they? And Stanley Kubrick wanted that to happen. He did some horrific stuff on set that, like, I don't know how in today's Hollywood like that would fly. But like, for instance, literally the guy, like, literally it was like so bad. Like, literally he made Jack Nicholson repeat "Here's Johnny" 127 times in one take. So much so that he was stressed out and he was losing hair from it. As well as Shelley Duvall, who was also in the scene. And as well, he did so much messed up stuff to her. Like, he literally, like, she didn't know what was happening on set most of the days. He would literally not tell her what happened, and people would chase her around. She thought actual stuff was happening in the hotel, like the lights were flickering. She thought it was like some type of presence. It wasn't. He was literally not just directing the movie, he was literally messing with the cast to get actual reaction. This movie is one of a kind, and it's something that a lot of people talk about with this movie, especially when it comes to the actors and how This movie was groundbreaking, but at the same time, not the best portrayal of backstage politics in Hollywood. Shelley Duvall had a lot to say, and after that, she said she would never work with Stanley Kubrick again, understandable, as well as the young actor who played the kid. Like literally, the kid was scared after some of the scenes in the movie, especially with the twin girls in the red room. The most iconic scene from the movie. Like I don't know how to get in someone's head like that, and it makes me think. Like learning about movies and behind the scenes and stuff. Like you have to like when I learned about movies and stuff, you always the actors, the actors, like pretty much actors, cameramen, like pretty much your crew comes first, not the film. So what I learned is pretty much if something goes wrong or somebody's not feeling well or something is not right with crew members, you will go to the crew. You don't continue filming, you don't continue. So this was like a really interesting fact about like the bad stuff that happened on set. And I wanted to talk about it because it's something that needs to be talked about before we go deeper into more of the philosophy and the psychology behind the film and more of the meanings behind it. This is something that I needed to talk about first before we get into the movie. And I will be doing this not with some other movies as well. It depends on the movie. Because I feel like it's always good to have movie history. Depends on the topic of the movie, especially nowadays, and seeing behind the scene footage of how horrific it was. But that's something that needs to be spoken about before I get more into my review and the cinematic of it and the philosophy. I needed to actually talk about this. So after talking all about this, we're gonna go straight into the cinematography. The cinematography of the movie, in my opinion, is one of a kind, especially the iconic scene with the tricycle. This scene was actually played by having a camera on the bike that the kid was riding, as well as having multiple cameramen follow him around. But the way that they edited it was seamlessly perfect, as well as the lighting in the film. Even though everything is pretty lightly lighted, seems pretty like old style, homey, like VHS video. It really gives this eerie vibe, especially the way that the director picks the color tones from the twin girls' dresses to contrast with the floor and the ceiling, and as well as like sudden details like the photos in the back of the hotel, like in the wall, while Jack Nicholson character looks at it, while the hotel manager tells him about his new role. That will lead into the big twist near the end, but little subtleties like that, and also like the little hint about the red rum and stuff. So like having those little subtleties lead up to the big one was really good, and it really was good at story building and pacing. As well as I'm gonna go now to talk about the philosophy behind the film. So the philosophy behind the film, it's pretty much an uncaring universe, you can say. Like other terrifying elements was the Overlook Hotel itself. It was vast, cold, and had different kinds of universe and outbursts of philosophy. I will show a photo right here. But pretty much like when people went to the hotel while filming, they said like they felt like something connected them somehow or some way. But campus argued that it was no word of intent meeting, and the shining was clear. The hotel doesn't care about Jack and his family, but simply just a unstoppable force that consumes whatever that steps inside of it. So what he's trying to say is like people acts people on set is like the hotel kind of like a different time universe or different like oh are they trapped in like this time loop or is it like a ultimate dimension. And that's a lot of things people talk about this movie, but also this movie is a lot about free will in criteria, I will say. So learning in philosophy, it's always criteria. So for you to do something is criteria. Like, oh, I wake up this morning, I'm gonna go for a run. That's something I do daily. Oh, it's a weird coincidence. No, it's not. Why do you go for a run? Oh, I like to go for a run because I like running in the morning. No, it's more to that. You have to break it down more. So this movie really like breaks down that like criteria of why do this relationship with the mom and the dad, like the mom and the dad are still trying to work it out even though the dad is ex alcoholic, the mom is sick and tired of the dad, the son is really curious about what's going on in the world, and like the criteria is they want to keep a perfect family, but at the same time like it's physically impossible because the dad wants different stuff in his life, so as the mom. And like to see that like dynamic between the mom, the dad, and the son, even though they're not in a lot of scenes together, you can see it through like little tidbits and clips. As well as it does mess with your head a lot. The layout, Overlook does not make sense. The doors that lead to nowhere, the windows shouldn't be any. And it created a spiral paradox that felt uneasy and made us realize why we was trapped in like this, I guess you can say cave. You can say like they was kind of trapped in their own Plato's cave. They didn't really realize like until near the end when the little boy escapes the cave. I guess you can say like the maze is him escaping the cave to find out the truth. And the truth near the end of the movie will shock a lot of people. It did me too when I watched it. And it still kind of shocks me to today. Because even if you go back and watch it, you're gonna notice little subtleties of stuff you never saw before. So that leads me into, is it free will or sanity? So Jack is crazy, or is he simply playing his fate that he can't escape? And that's something more about the philosophy. Is it like, is this who they are as a person, or this is what we call fate? So in philosophy, it's always this debate between criteria and fate. It's that some people believe that what happens happens, while other people believe your choices and your actions is what makes the situation happen. So with Jack's character, does he do it because it's his fate to end up in a psychological mess, or is it the stuff that he did before that led him to the hotel to become a psychological mess? And that's what the movie really plays with, as well as The Shining isn't just scary because of ghosts. It's scary because it's how easy it feels to lose your control of reality. And that happens a lot. Like sometimes like you can't control what happens. So it's more of what you do with it and how you will take it. And that's really good like way of putting it. And like more than ever, don't let me forget the hidden messages. The hidden messages were crazy. Like some believe The Shining was to, oh my god, like it was crazy. Like some people thought like literally the film was a labyrinth, the meeting of just the hedge mage of the end. Like people thought like it was like all of this, the thing with the astronaut, like like Kubrick added so much like hidden details. Like he made some stuff about Apollo 11 and like how the stuff in the background also make you like question like he was really questioning like a lot of theories and like even though you don't see it in the movie, it's a lot of like hidden messages in the background, like questioning government or questioning reality itself. And it's a couple scenes in the movie that would just you would just need to freeze and you would just zone out because you're just like, what is going on? Well, that leads me to the ending. I would say the ending pieced everything together, especially when Shelley Duvall character was running away from the dad, the whole "here comes Johnny," and the way that she fought back against him, and then he was going after the little kid. They went into the maze. The little kid was able to escape with his mom and leave the hotel. And then later you realize what's going on. Like, the hotel seems like old and beat up and dead. And to realize that, oh, the data is frozen. After a day or two, the data is frozen. The hotel, like, it shows the hotel empty, no one in it. Like, it's abandoned. And then they zoom to the photo frame in the back. And then you realize the dad always worked at the hotel, and the hotel has been out of business for a long time. And that just blew my mind the first couple times I watched it. Like, it's still like, after watching the movie, it's a lot that, like, still makes you think today, like, wow, like, it's unanswered. You never get like, a movie like this, you don't get an answer of, like, what happens. It kind of ends abruptly, and it's like a good thing because it makes you question after the movie. But I will say, so that was the sci- so that was my review. So is it just The Shiner, or is it a horror movie, or is it something deeper of meditation on the next time of fate, or is it the fragile part of the human mind? So next time you go to a hotel up in the woods or up at a ski resort, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because you don't know what can happen.
Forever and ever and ever.
That's nice. That's nice. Oh, well, I have to go now. Yeah, I have to go now. Yeah. Oh, yeah.